This by far was one of the most challenging shoots of my career as a DP. Let's get into it. This shoot threw every curveball imaginable at me as a director of photography. From last-minute creative changes to gear failures, this project tested my skills, it tested my patience, and my ability to adapt. But as always, there were, of course, a couple of lessons that I learned. First, we started off with a super fun sports field theme. Our talent was Erin Andrews, who is a sports reporter. So we figured if we shot in a football field, that it would be able to bring a full circle moment for her for this particular PSA. However, a football field just wasn't in the budget for us, and we didn't find that out till it was close to shoot time, and we had to pivot really quickly to a new solution, which was really trying to keep the creative that the client wanted, but doing it in a virtual reality set. It sounded exciting, but it came with a couple of challenges on its own. One being I had never shot on a virtual reality set. So lighting for it was crazy. The day of shoot, I was struggling with trying to get the lighting that I felt was going to feel more natural for the virtual reality, the composition, like everything that I thought of when I location scouted and what I wanted it to portray just wasn't coming out right. Trying to match graphics, colors, and lighting was honestly like trying to solve a puzzle. And I'm usually good at puzzles. I was getting very just frustrated with the fact that just nothing was aligning the way I really wanted it to. But lo and behold, because of the gaffer and key grip that I chose, they had already worked on virtual reality sets. They really kind of came in and we maneuvered a lot, but we found a way to really bring something super beautiful and something that I was actually really, really proud of. Then came the teleprompter. Y'all, this was a last minute decision. We fought really hard to not have a teleprompter because I was already going to be on a Chapman moving. And so we didn't really want to use a teleprompter. We wanted the camera to be able to be free in how it moved. And so we were going to go for cue cards, but our talent didn't want cue cards, and it was going to be hard for the person holding the cue cards to move with me and for the eye line to not be too crazy off from the camera. And so we end up just having to work with the teleprompter for talent. And the biggest issue was that with all the lenses that I chose, the teleprompter, you would be able to see the teleprompter in our lenses. So it was messing up our image, especially when we're trying to get this beautiful wide image for the second shot. It just didn't work. And so we had to last minute pivot and end up going back to the rental house to go for lenses that would actually work with the teleprompter. And just when I thought we was finally in the clear, our RE Mini literally just stopped working mid-shoot. Now, I shoot with the RE Mini a lot as a DP, and I've never had this happen. I've never even heard this happen. And it honestly stopped working when we only had 20 minutes to spare with talent.
Yeah. OJ's talking to them right now.
Okay.
Yeah, that one's good. That one's good.
It just randomly started doing that?
Huh? Looks great. Okay. Yeah, we're okay with that one.
It came to the point where I had to tell my BTS shooter, like, yo,
You can just turn
we're going to have to use your FX6. It's only a 2-shot PSA, and we only got 1 shot so far. We need the second shot. And he was more than willing to loan out his FX6, but it's one of those things where when you're on big sets like this, you're not really thinking that your camera is just going to stop working on you. You know, you do your lens test, you do your prep day. And so that's just not a thing that usually happens on a set. So I know a lot of people were like, that's why I usually bring an extra camera. This isn't just a one-man band type of situation. We have a full team. It's not like we can rent another RE just to be sitting around just in case something breaks. You don't have the budget for that. And so it was one of those things where luckily I always hire BTS as much as I can. And he was more than willing. He had an FX3 and an FX6, and he was more than willing to help us, you know, get the last shot that we need. And as soon as we started putting the FX6 on the Chapman and taking the RE off, my ACs came in clutch. They don't know how they figured out the solution, but the RE Mini came back on. It came back to life, and we were able to get the last shot within the last 10 minutes that we had with talent.
Y'all are the real heroes right here.
Oh, we went fast, yo. We're boasting. We just gonna put this.
And so with that, this shoot just reminded me of 3 key lessons that I just wanted to share with you all, just as you continue to grow in your filmmaking space and knowing that This is just the nature of the game. The first lesson is that your team is your lifeline. Now, if it was just a one-man band, and I know people are always like, why do you need all these people for a shoot like this? Well, these are reasons why. As a one-man band, most of the responsibility is on you to do everything. And a lot of times, even as I've one-man band over the years, something can go wrong, something can happen, and all that accountability is on you. When you have a team, a lot of times they're sharing that burden with you. Everybody's playing their role, and they're kind of helping take the load off of you as a DP, so you can focus on finding a solution, so you can talk to client and you can talk to talent. When all of those things were happening, it was me talking to client, explaining to them. They were on set, they saw what was happening, but just letting them know we'll figure it out, letting them know we have an option, just different things like that. While my ACs were troubleshooting and going into overdrive to still make sure that we can shoot with the RE Mini. But had it just been me, it just would have been a little bit more pressure, which isn't always great in that case. And so having a good team that knows how to problem solve, that knows how to work with pressure when things like this happen is so crucial, and everybody can play their part. It's like a running machine. Every little part, is important for that machine to work. And that is what it is as a DP. You are in charge and you are over the people, and you have to make sure that everything is working together to get the job done efficiently and effectively. And so your team is truly your lifeline, and they're here to help you with all the things that you need help with. Number 2, control what you can and adapt to what you can't. Now, there are a lot of things that were beyond our control, such as the teleprompter. We kind of had to bring that into our workflow, and then figuring out by bringing in a different focal length that would work in tandem with the teleprompter, even though it might change my creative of how I wanted things to look a little bit. Learning how to adapt. Or even the overall creative changing from the football field to now trying to do this virtual reality where it still involves some of the creative that the client wanted. They loved the creative. We just couldn't afford the actual field. So they wanted to keep the creative. So with that, the VR was really the only way that we could kind of keep that creative and like not just doing a standard in studio type of shoot. And so just knowing that the creative changes, we were trying so hard to find a football field that was affordable, and just trying to find other ways to implement the creative, and they wanted what they wanted, and we kind of had to lose that battle. And it's okay. Doesn't mean it's a bad thing or anything like that. It's just that you cannot control everything. You are working for them ultimately, and you guys are bringing your creatives together. As a DP, this is your creative and the director. Then the client also is just going to have what they ultimately want for their company. And so you have to learn how to work with that. So some things you just can't control. Even with the camera, just stop working mid-shoot. We can't control when gear, fails on us. Like, you just have to figure it out. And luckily, we had an FX6. Even though the rental house was willing to send another camera, we did have a camera on set. But it's just one of those things where it's all about finding a solution and knowing that you can't always be in control of everything. And those 3 things have never happened to me, but in a sense, I'm glad they did, because they taught me a lot of patience. They taught me how to depend on my team, and they just taught me, you can't control every single thing. So some things you have to let go, and we all just figure it out together. Number 3, pre-production is vital. Now, you're not gonna always get the amount of time that you would like when it comes to pre-production, but sometimes you do have an opportunity to fight for it. Now, in this instance, we didn't have as much time as the creative kept changing, but there were things in pre-production that we were really able to solidify. However, we did the shot list, we did the camera prep, and we did the location scouting, and no amount of pre-production would have allocated for the things that happened on this set, outside of probably the teleprompter. But as far as the RE Mini not working, we had a camera prep test. As far as the creative changing, that's whatever client wants. And so even though you can do a lot of pre-production, it's really a matter of being diligent, knowing how to problem solve, and always having a contingency plan in the back of your head for just in case. As much as it is about shooting, filmmaking is problem solving. So with that being said, hopefully you all got something from this video. Let me know about some mistakes that you all might have had on your sets. I think it's very important to share the ups and the downs, and we share so much about, I've been doing this for years. I got to shoot this. But I don't want people to think that being a DP is just always great. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot to this process. And so I also want to make sure that I'm sharing, you know, certain failures that I might have just as much as I'm sharing the accomplishments, because it's all a part of the journey as you grow as a DP and as you grow as a filmmaker. So thank you all so much for watching. Leave a comment down below, like this video, share with your friends, and of course, make sure that you're subscribed. Thank y'all so much, and I love you. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.